Applause for being here tonight. So for those that don't know, my name is Alec, and I am the organizer of this event, and I've been putting together events all year, bringing people together. So for how many of you is this your first ever event of mine? You've never been to an event before? Of mine, at least. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here. And who has been to an event of mine in the past? Woo! Well, thank you guys for coming back. So this is a very interesting event because this is the first ever Personal Brand Soiree, which is really exciting. And if you guys could please silence your cell phones so they don't ring, that would be fantastic. All right, awesome. So my intentions with this event is to specifically bring together people that are interested in building their brands and reaching their next level in business and in life. And also, I just think that people who are building their personal brands are some of the coolest people in general. So on that note, who here tonight has met somebody really awesome? Woo! That is exactly the point. Now, compared to some of my last events, this event is also going to bring an educational component to the mix as well, where I'm going to share with you guys a lot about what I know about how to build a personal brand, and especially in Orange County and beyond. So I'm going to try to provide as much value as I possibly can. For this event, I elected to have no sponsors, but I do want to give a shout out to a few people that have really helped support this community. One being ClapSpace. You guys are at ClapSpace. It's an absolutely awesome spot just for office space or just hanging out and event space. I love this place. Outside of that, I want to give a huge shout out to Trevor right there over at Yo-Yo Burgers and Chicken. He's always been clutch with bringing in the food. And then, of course, I want to give a shout out to my homie Brandon right there who is recording this entire thing. He does a lot of video production, so if you guys need video or you're trying to film a podcast or whatever it might be, then you want to hit up Brandon. And then also, of course, Lewis right there who's taking all of the amazing photographs that are going to be right there on social media. So this is going to be a very detailed presentation on how to build your personal brand, and I'm really excited for it. So with a presentation like this, you guys, there's really not that much that I can guarantee except that it's either going to be the best presentation you've ever heard, the worst presentation you've ever heard, or something somewhere in the middle, all right? So let's get into it. This is the story of Alec Mountain, or at least thus far. So I've been an entrepreneur for full-time for about 6 years now, but I've been starting businesses ever since I was 16 years old. And my first ever business, I would go to Goodwill in Valley Village and I would buy things for really cheap, like unused board games and CDs, and I would flip it on Amazon. And I didn't really make that much money doing that. So I then started publishing my own books on Amazon that other people wrote, and I didn't really make very much money doing that. But basically my teenage years were basically going from one make money online opportunity to the next, and let's just say I learned a lot. But in 2018, things changed, and I was living in Seattle, or at least the Seattle area, and I started my marketing services company when I was 20 years old. And I started that business on February 14th. I don't know why I started that business on Valentine's Day, aside from the fact that I definitely had no romantic life, had no Valentine's Day at all, so I literally had nothing to do better than to start a business that day. And it was by no means an overnight success, but after about 10 months, I was able to make enough money to move out of my parents' house, which was as much of a win for me as it was for them. And then after that, within 2 years, I was able to make a 6-figure income, even get 6-figure clients, and generally live a pretty great lifestyle. However, and to this day, I've worked with dozens of entrepreneurs, I've managed millions of dollars in ads, and I've been able to do some good things, but I'd be lying to you if I said, I didn't struggle a lot in the past, and that I still struggle every day with my own sort of challenges, just like everybody else does. Now, this talk isn't just about sharing personalized information on how to build your personal brand. It's really about sharing my story in Orange County. While going into detail on how I've been really able to build my personal brand and reputation here in a very short period of time, so that you can learn and potentially be inspired by it. So what have I done? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But let's first go back to March of 2022. So I was living in Denver, Colorado, and this was right before my buddy Rashad inspired me to come out to LA, and I ended up moving there. In Denver, I wasn't happy. At the time, I had recently ended a serious relationship that I was in, and overall, I wasn't fulfilled in my work. I was making a lot of money, I was saving a lot of money, and I had every creature comfort in the world, but I just wasn't fulfilled, and that feeling sucks. However, what I wanted to do was I wanted to move to LA to start a new life, so that's what I did. And around the time, I had a huge client that made up the majority of my income, who was paying me $15,000 a month. They decided to stop working with me because they had really big budget constraints. So when I moved to LA, I really had to figure out what I was going to do and how I was going to make things work. And following up to September of 2022, I'm in a position now where nothing that I wanted to do ended up working out, unfortunately. I fell through a massive amount of money. I'm coming off a terrible business breakup, so I'm also with a co-founder, so I'm also emotionally defeated. And my marketing services business, which was basically my bread and butter, it was making practically no money because I had stopped paying attention to it. So anyway, it's late October 2022, basically about a year ago, and the highlight was that, I moved to Irvine. And Irvine in Orange County, it's just amazing. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to build my business back up and really, make a name for myself. And I don't know anybody in Orange County at this time. I kid you not. The only person I know is basically Trevor right there, who brought the food. He's a close family friend. Other than that, I really didn't know anybody at all. And at this time, we'll get to that. And at this time, I'm really reflecting on what made me successful in the past. Because, key reason why I had success building my business in my early 20s is because I really prioritized building relationships. That was always so important for me, especially other entrepreneurs. So the first thing that I tell myself in Irvine is that I need to build a network of other people, that I share similar interests with. Because through more connections, through meeting more people, I'll build more relationships. More relationships will lead to more opportunity, and more opportunity will lead to more business. And in Seattle, I did plenty of events. In Denver, I did quite a few events too. So I'm looking at events in Orange County as the way to go. And essentially what happened was, about a year ago, I put out an ad saying, hey, for anybody that's interested in meeting entrepreneurs and like-minded people in Orange County, go ahead and sign up for my events list. And from there, this is basically what the ad looked like. This is the OG ad right here from a year ago. Orange County people, some of you guys know that tagline, probably a lot of you. And from there, my image basically took off. I was getting tons of followers, I was getting lots of DMs, and just in general, I was also building up my email list, a strong contact base. And finally, in January of 2023, I launched my first event here, which was the OC Startups and Growth launch party. That's actually the one on the top right over there. And since then, over 700 people have attended my events. And I've continued to invest in advertising because it's just worked so well. But what has really been the outcome for this? It's really allowed me to build a really solid community of people that know, like, and trust me. Like I said, I didn't know anybody here a year ago, and I've been able to build a huge community basically from scratch. I have several thousand people from Orange County that follow me on social media, and of course I have a huge database of people as well. And I've just made so many incredible connections that just otherwise wouldn't have been possible. And of course, with those relationships, it's allowed me to predictably make a lot more money than I ever have before. And the events make some money, not a lot, but the vast majority of the profit has really come from the relationships and the clients that have gone through the events and the advertising of them. You know, when you're advertising locally on a daily basis, people are used to seeing you in their feed. You get a lot of attention both online and in person as well. Now, I really want to tell you more about this event's marketing strategy because it's absolutely amazing, but I'd be lying to you if I said that it was the only thing that you really need to do to build your personal brand in your career. Sure, events really did turbocharge my brand and my career, but it's only really worked so well because it was built off the backbone of everything that I had learned since 2018. It was really an amazing extension of everything that was already built. And honestly, a good analogy is kind of like a railway system. You know, think about your foundational years, experiences, as like kind of like constructing a solid railway system. You know, the tracks are really going to represent the core values, the strategies, and the relationships that you've built over the years. Now, the events are kind of like adding a high-speed train to that railway. You know, you can still get to your destinations with a regular train and enjoy the journey, but adding that high-speed train really allows you to progress much faster. You know, allows you to go through the routes faster, more efficient, and just build an audience faster. However, you guys, without those foundational tracks in place, that train wouldn't have a path to travel on, right? So let's first talk about, you know, what you need to do to build those foundational tracks. And by the way, even if you never do events, what we're going to talk about in this presentation is going to provide a massive amount of value to you guys. Because even if you just have these foundational elements in order that we're going to talk about, you'll be able to make an extra 6 figures minimum if you implement them correctly. You know, events can really help you make money faster, but it is an advanced marketing strategy and it's also really for more of an experienced business owner. So my goal right now is to give you enough implementable strategies that you can put together today to get the results that you want out of your life. So before we get into it, let's talk about what a personal brand is. It's basically your reputation and how other people view you. And keep in mind, I'm saying how other people view you, not how you view yourself, because in the whole business world, even if you perceive yourself in some way, if other people don't agree, it doesn't really matter, right? If there's a disparity between public perception and, you know, if there's a disparity between who you think you are and the public perception of you, it's really going to be the latter that dominates in social and professional contexts, right? So what we really want to do is we want to be extremely clear about what our brand is and also what our brand isn't, because we want to give other people the right idea of what our personal brand is, so that they don't create their own idea of what they think it is because you didn't provide them with enough information or clarity. So in order to do this, you gotta define your personal brand. And your personal brand is really a combination of your values, your value, and your uniqueness. Your values being like the core values that you stand for, your value being the value that you provide in the marketplace, and also your uniqueness is really what makes you stand out and different. Actually, hold on a second. So before we get into this, let's talk about why this is so important, especially in business and growing your client base. People buy from other people that they know, like, and trust. People that they have a connection with. People that they relate to. And if people don't relate to you, they're not going to buy from you. So we need to give other people as many reasons as possible to like us and connect with us. We want our prospects to be like, you know, I like what this person can potentially do for my business, but I also really like who they are as a person. I really connect with them. That's connection. And that connection is going to allow you to stand out amongst anybody else that they might be doing business with or they have plans to do business with. And I'm not going to say that everybody's going to resonate with you, because they're not. But when you market yourself from your core identity, you're really going to have the right people gravitate towards you. And you're going to get, you know, those people that really like what you can do for them, and also who you are as a person, and those types of people are going to be the ones that are going to pay you a lot of money. And that's going to create a lot of financial freedom faster than trying to be everything for everyone. So let's start with values. Who in this room has actually established their core values of who they are as a person? Awesome, about half of you. If you haven't already, then it's almost a must-have. Because for one, when you know what your core values are, you're just going to live a more intentional life. It's going to impact your day-to-day decision-making and what you want to be doing and what you don't want to do. It's kind of like a compass where you can lead your life off of. Also, when you really define your core values and you're emphasizing that through your brand, whether in person or online, that's going to really attract the right people into your life. I've worked with lots of clients and I've had lots of friends, trust me. And honestly, the best friends, the best clients, the best relationships are the ones who you share core values with, right? So that's really important. And what I'm just saying is make your core values a part of who you are internally and also externally. So let's briefly go through my core values. So one is faith. I have a lot of faith around, hey, if I'm going to do something, when I'm going after something in business or in life, if I do my best, I believe that things are going to work out the way that they're supposed to. I believe in God and a higher power. And this has been critical for me. And I just think it's really hard to succeed as an entrepreneur if you don't have faith, right, to overcome the struggles in your life and any obstacles that you might go through. And also freedom, right? I'm a huge proponent of financial freedom, mental freedom, having freedom in our own health, that sort of thing, right? And I believe that freedom is really inspiring and it's totally attainable for those that prioritize it. And also, future. I'm a very future-oriented person. I get up early, most days. I go to the gym, most days. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. And overall, I'm just thinking about how my actions today impact tomorrow. I'm not perfect, but I do the best that I can to look at things in a very long-term way. Because, in my opinion, and those that I've learned from, that's the way to do it. And I emphasize these values a lot in my Instagram, my stories, my what else? My reels, my emails that I send out, and most of my other communication methods. For two main reasons. Because one, it feels really good to authentically express who I am as a person and what I stand for. And secondly, it also allows me to attract the right people and also distance myself from people that aren't the right fit for being in my life. It's really like a filter, and that filter is very important. All right, fantastic. Let's talk about value. So value is really the problem that you solve in the business world. It's why people pay you money, and hopefully lots of money. So to really define your value, you've got to get very clear about who your ideal customer is, right? And what that starts with is, what do they really want in their life as it relates to what you can help people with? And on top of that, because they don't have that solution, what are all the problems that are really getting in the way of that? Their external problems, their internal problems, their philosophical problems. And how are you, as the expert or the service provider, how are you positioned to help them and really make that change? Right? How are you going to get them to where they are to where they want to be? Right? Because the most impactful and tight messaging really comes down to having a super strong value proposition and selling people on the transformation that they're going to really have through working with you. And this also comes down to selling outcomes. People don't care about the nitty-gritty details as much as they really care about what you can really do for them, right? Sell them on a new identity of who they can really be after working with you. And there's a couple companies that do this extremely well. Like, let's talk about Apple for a moment. Is their broad marketing message really about their new M2 chip or their screen resolution? No. It's really about when you get an Apple product, that's really selling you on being a more creative and productive person, right? That version of yourself. Think about Delta Airlines, right? Is Delta Airlines really talking about, their new jet engine or their, or what else, like their in-flight entertainment or how comfortable their seats are? Maybe a little bit, but their main message is they're going to help you get to your destination in a really efficient and comfortable time frame. So yeah, your messaging is going to be best when it really resonates with the desires of your customer and speaking to the pain points and how you can specifically help them. All right, let's move on to uniqueness. Uniqueness is really what makes you stand out and different. Not necessarily just in your business, but in your life in general. A lot of the time this has to do with our life story. Where we're from, our upbringing, what we've gone through, and all the experiences that have really made us into the person that we are today. And all the wisdom and knowledge that has really come with that, right? So when you're building your personal brand and putting out content, it's really important to just share your story along the way. I'm not saying make a 60-minute video from when you were born to where you are right now, but it's important to share your journey and all of the things that have helped make you into the person that you are today, and the interesting elements involved in that. This is not only what allows you to differentiate you from the competition, because for one, you are you, but it also allows you to connect with people and relate to people better, right? Like there's a reason why I shared my story in the beginning of this presentation, right? Because I wanted to share a little bit more about myself to give you guys more the opportunity to connect and relate with me. Guys, you are you. Your personal brand and what you put out should be a reflection of the core values that you stand for, what you provide in the business world, and what really makes you different. Your goal is not to be liked by everyone. That's not necessary, and it's also not realistic. If you want to create a business and life of your dreams, to do what you want, with who you want, when you want, and how you want, the main key is really just to create a tribe of people that you really bond with and they really bond with you. When you really look at yourself, your values, your value, and your uniqueness, you are a very unique, niche person. You're at a personal brand soiree. How many other people are at a personal brand soiree? Very few, right? So just know that when your niche is emphasized in how you talk about yourself in your business, that's going to really do a lot of amazing things for you. And you're going to be putting out a small net, all right, when you're really capitalizing on your niche. But it's going to be a small net, but it's going to be a great net. And it's going to catch golden fish. And those golden fish are going to make for the best clients, the best friends, and overall just the best relationships. Guys, I try to be everything for everyone. And although I've had a certain level of success, and it's been a ride, it's not a ride that I'm continuing. There's a reason why this is a personal brand soiree, and not just another generalized networking event like the 7 others that I've had this year. Although I've met plenty of amazing people, marketing to a broad audience, I have very high standards for who I want to connect with, who my friends are going to be, and also who I want to work with. Guys, I don't want to waste any more time. Do you guys want to waste any more time? We only have a limited amount of time on Earth, right? We just got to surround ourselves with the best people that we possibly can. And, guys, clearly this isn't my biggest event, but it is my favorite. You know why? Because for one, a lot of you guys are aligned with, my core values. You're aligned with the value proposition of this whole event in my business, which is personal brand coaching and consulting. And on top of that, this is just the impact that I wanted to make. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to climb the wrong mountain, right? You don't want to go on the wrong journey. I don't want to climb the wrong mountain, which would be extremely ironic for someone like me, given my last name, right? So do your best today to be intentional about who you are, what you stand for, what you provide, and who you want to work with so that you can have great financial and mental freedom long term. All right. So now this is really about, after you've defined your personal brand, or you started the process, your values, value, and your uniqueness, it's all about, and I say started because it's always a continual process, all right? After that, it's really time to start building a community of people that like you and resonate with you. Because as you build a community, you really build a community of people to sell to, right? And you really want to build the right community, which is why we started with defining what your personal brand is and also what it isn't. And, creating a community of people that know, like, and trust you really starts with creating content. On one platform, you guys. Not 5 platforms in the beginning, all right? I know a lot of you guys want to, get on every single platform in the beginning. I advise against it because to get high-value clients from social media, what you really want to do is you need to get extremely good at one platform, all right? And you can't get extremely good at one platform if you're focusing on 5 at one time, right? So until you're making at least $20,000 a month from one channel, I advise you not to go to another channel, right? Pick one platform and get extremely good at it. You'll thank me later. All right, so which platform do you pick? Well, for me, it's going to be Instagram, right? That seems a little bit obvious, but I love Instagram so much. Because in my opinion, it is the most versatile and it's also the most flexible. It's really easy to connect with people through Instagram DMs. I really like, all the content on Instagram, how you're able to make real stories. I just think it's the best. And I think most of you should be on Instagram unless you're selling some really B2B niche service to enterprises. But if that's not you, then for the majority of you, I recommend Instagram. Other platforms to consider. LinkedIn and Facebook, believe it or not. So LinkedIn is an amazing platform. I see people building their following all the time on LinkedIn. Personally, I'm not on LinkedIn because I do believe that I can grow my business to massive heights just on Instagram alone, which is why I'm not using LinkedIn. Facebook profile is also super interesting. I know so many coaches, consultants, agencies that have built 7-figure businesses just getting clients from their Facebook personal profile. I actually, not too long ago, paid a coach $18,000 who I met on Facebook. I don't know if he added me as a friend or if I added him as a friend, but I've been following his content for several months, being nurtured, and then I eventually signed up with him. And he is wildly successful, which is why I'm in this program. But outside of that, there's plenty of people that I know that have been successful building their personal brands on Facebook alone. However, the correct platform to build your personal brand on in the beginning is to go where the majority of people already know you, right? Where you currently have an audience, where you have the greatest pool of prospects. Because especially in the beginning, or if you're just starting to brand yourself online, the people that are most likely to buy from you are going to be the people that already know who you are. So go to that platform. However, if you are just starting fresh, then I would probably just recommend Instagram. Okay, so after we pick that platform, what do we do next? So let's say, we're going to talk about converting your existing audience. So let's say, you pick Instagram as your platform and you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to get clients from there? At this specific point, I really wouldn't try to focus on getting new followers because a lot of the people that can buy from you within the next 30 days are going to be people that already know you. I think you can get at least 5 clients or 10 clients from your current audience. And but the thing is that they're probably not buying from you for 2 reasons. The first being is that you haven't branded yourself around the business that you have, and then secondly, you're probably also not starting conversations and reaching out to them to see if they are potentially a good fit for your business. But let's start with the first thing. So what you really want to do is you want to start branding yourself, right, around your business if you haven't already. You need a professional profile picture, and you also need a very clear bio that states what you do and who you help, right? You can't expect people to do business with you if they don't know that you're in business, right? And outside of that, what you want to do is you want to create a lot of content to prove to them, that you are an expert in your field. So my favorite type of content to post are going to be Instagram Reels. Johnny, can we not fly the drone, please? So my favorite type of content to post are going to be Instagram Reels. So if you go to my profile, you can see, I post Reels all the time. I post Reels about personal branding. I post Reels about my events. I post Reels about various elements of my life story. And I do a good job of staying consistent and relevant with my audience. Get them used to seeing you as an authority in your industry. And you do that by creating content. A lot of people are so confused about what to create content about. Create content about your business and how you specifically help people, right? Think about all the problems that people have related to your product or service and create content around that. You can even go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I do this for a living. What are some Instagram Reel ideas that I can put out? And that's a really great starting point. What you want to do, and likes don't matter, you guys. What really matters is views. You want people to repeatedly see you because that's what matters most. So put out 15 Reels in the next 30 days to really build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience and get them used to seeing, who you are and how you help people, right? Because this will warm them up to the idea of working with you in the first place. All right, so now that you're building that trust and authority, the next step is to start conversations with them to get them on a call. Sometimes people will message you first inquiring about your services, especially if you've been putting out content for months and years, but especially for you guys starting out building your personal brands. What you want to do is you want to create that consistency and predictability, right? To get calls leading to more clients. This is very important, and you do that by going to other people first and starting conversations with them. So, because now that they've been seeing you as an expert and they're warmed up to your content, they're warmed up. So how do you message these people, right? Because so many people think it's daunting or scary or salesy. That's because that's because they're worried about doing what 95% of other people are doing, which is wrong. What you want to do is reach out to them using customized, genuine compliments. What this means is going to their profile, finding something interesting, and sending them, a kind, polite message that's also engaging, right? Nothing copy and paste, no selling on the first message. It has to be something very custom and genuine. For example, you could go to somebody's profile and be like, let's say it's somebody that you're potentially interested in working with, and you could say, hey Sarah, love that you were at Laguna Beach last week with your kids. Looked like a really great time. I hope you're having a great day. Something like that. Or, hey Mike, saw you at the LA Angels game with your bros the other day. Was a really awesome win. Something like that. And this is so effective because practically everybody replies to these messages. Think about it. If you got a message like this, a customized, genuine compliment, just like an engaging message, you would reply to it, right? Or at least most of you guys would. Based on my own metrics, about 90% of people reply to this metric. And then after they reply to this message. And then after that, you want to start a follow-up conversation with them to potentially see if they're interested in working with you. However, you don't just lead into that. You want to offer with some kind of value, right? Which could be, a free ebook or a training related to what you do as a business owner. And if they want that free piece of content, what does that mean? They're potentially interested in the value proposition of your business, right? And from there, you can start a conversation with them and see why they wanted that piece of content in the first place, right? What are their goals, or what are they potentially struggling with as it relates to what you help people with? And if they are struggling, then you can invite them to get on a call with you. So let's talk about why this works so incredibly well. Because one, you're providing value up front with a very genuine compliment. Again, nobody's used to getting messages like this. I mean, who has gotten a message like this in the last 30 days? Probably very few people, right? So it gets a very high reply rate. It really breaks the ice. And then you're providing value again with a piece of useful free content that you spent time making, and you're just going at this in a very helping manner to see if you can help them further, right? And if they don't want the content, no big deal. But if they do, you can then ask qualifying questions, see if they have the potential to work with you in the first place. And if they are struggling, and you realize that on the call, then you can invite them to get on a call with you to see if they potentially want to work with you. Here's the thing though, if you're one of these action takers, you're eventually going to run out of people to start conversations with, right? Because you only have, a limited amount of followers. So what you want to do then is after you go through all these people that already know, like, and trust you, who you believe have the potential to work with you, what you want to do is you want to get more followers, right? Because you have more people to talk to, more conversations to start. And in my opinion, the 3 best ways are meeting people in person, cold DMs, and also running ads. So let's quickly talk about them. So let's talk about meeting people in person. So this is pretty straightforward, go to events or other, gatherings to meet potential prospects. It could even be, this event right here. And instead of exchanging business cards, which are basically useless at this point in 2023, what you want to do instead is you want to get them to follow you on Instagram, right? So they can really see a huge visual representation of how you brand yourself. And also, what also happens when they start following you? They see your content on a regular basis, right? So they're being nurtured with your content. And then on top of that, if it makes sense at some point, you can start conversations in the way I just described, using genuine, engaging compliments at some point, to get them on a call with you, if it makes sense. Cold DMs. Cold DMs are so underrated. So basically, cold DMs means reaching out to people that you don't know. So you really got, in order to do this, you want to think about who your ideal client is and where they're likely to hang out. And the 2 main places where I like to look are hashtags and location tags, all right? So let's say you want to market to, let's say, health coaches. Use hashtag health coach. And then, you'll find plenty of health coaches posting, or healthy eating, whatever it might be. What if you want to work with lawyers? Go to hashtag lawyer life, or day in the life of a lawyer, and you'll find lots of people through there as well. And location tags are also really cool. Let's say you want to connect with people specifically in Orange County who have, let's say a high income. Go to very expensive venues like those location tags on Instagram, like Nobu, Pelican Hill, The Montage. See who's posting there, and connect with those people, right? And how do you connect with those people? What do you send them? A customized, genuine compliment. Exactly. And guys, this is how you can connect with literally anybody, whether they're going to be a potential prospect or just someone high level that you want to build a relationship, right? So what you want to do is you want to lead with that, and after they get back to you and they reply to you, because a lot of them will, you guys, you're not going to try to invite them on a call, because let's be honest, it's just messy, right? It's a little too forward. So what do you do instead? You say, hey, I like your content, I like what you're doing, I just gave you a follow on Instagram. If you like my content and want to connect further, I invite you to do the same, right? So now you connected with them, and now they're following you. And then again, after a period of time, if they're a prospect for your business, then you can start a conversation with them to potentially get them on a call. And it's easier this way because at this point they've been seeing your content repeatedly, right? That's the whole point. Okay, so ads are another really great way to get followers. So there's 2 primary ways that I see people getting followers that I've also used for myself, right? So the first one is going to be creating a very informative reel around the value proposition of what you help people with, like a tip or a strategy video. And in that video, you're basically just going to drop some knowledge and say, hey, if you like this video, give me a follow if you want more, right? And after they start following you, you guys know the drill. Start a conversation with them at some point after they've been seeing your content to get them on a call. And getting followers this way is easier than DMing people and meeting people in person because they're coming to you, right? You don't necessarily have to go to them. However, creating a great ad takes a lot of time and money. And honestly, I don't recommend ads unless you're making at least $10,000 a month in your business. Because here's the thing. Until you have a proven history of selling, or in most cases, until you have a proven history of selling your service, you don't know the message that's best going to resonate with your market, right? You don't know exactly who your ideal customer is and how you can specifically help them. So really what you want to do is first you want to get a sufficient amount of clients, really validate your offer in the marketplace, and then start ads. However, let's talk about, in order to validate your business, in the beginning stages, a great way to do that is organically in the way that I literally just described, right? So, however, there's another great way to get followers, which is basically through running ads. So who here has found me through an ad around events? Yeah, a lot of you. Or you found me through, or you've met somebody who introduced you to me who found me through an ad. It's going to be about 95% of you guys. So it's really effective. However, running ads specifically for events, great method. However, you need to commit to doing events. And also, it's going to best to work for you in your favor if your events are aligned with the value proposition of your actual business, right? You don't want to be like advertising like crazy nightlife parties in Newport when you sell software development, right? Because those followers aren't going to necessarily translate into clients, right? So you want to make sure that, hey, you want to create your events around what you're doing for a living, right? In most cases. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. But yeah, guys, this is really how you build your personal brand, a solid introduction on how to get more clients through building that personal brand. First, you want to get really clear about your values, your value, and your uniqueness, because that really helps establish the core of who you are and attracts the right people to work with you, and also the wrong types of people not to work with you. And then you want to focus on one platform, right? And really branding yourself on that platform, which for most of you is going to be Instagram, right? Creating a very engaging bio, and on top of that, creating content on a consistent basis. To really build that familiarity with the people that already know, like, and trust you, who are currently following you today, right? And then after that, after they're warmed up, like I just said, you're going to want to start conversations with them. And you can just be amazed at the types of responses that you'll get when you go beyond yourself in this very giving way to start conversations and see what you can do for people. And this is really how you can get your next 5 clients in 30 days. Like, this is what I've taught a lot of my clients who are just, starting out in their business. However, if you're an action taker, which I hope you are, you're eventually going to run out of new people to talk to. So that's how you got to prioritize getting new followers, right? And that's really going to come down to meeting people in person at awesome events, cold DMing people that you want to work with, or just people that you want to connect with in general. And then on top of that, running ads if you are a more established business owner that has a proven history of selling your service. So this is how it's done. How have you guys liked it so far? Cool? Thank you. So now we're just about to wrap up, but of course I want to revisit the X factor that's really allowed me to take my personal brand, my reputation, to the next level, which is events. And events, which is just, even the advertising of them, has allowed me to progress much faster in building my personal brand and reputation in an area faster than any other thing I've done in my entire life. In the past, people have asked me about events, a little bit about my campaigns when I'm running. I'm never going to try to share, but I've never. It wasn't until recently that I really started coaching and consulting other entrepreneurs on how they can actually grow their business through doing their own niche events. And because of how much it's done for me and my confidence in what it can do for a lot of other business owners, it's now my primary offer, actually, which is coaching and consulting other entrepreneurs on how to grow and launch their own niche events in order to build their personal brand. And it's everything that I'm doing implemented for you for your own unique market and service. But before we get into that, let's talk about what events have really done for me. Well, I've been able to turn about $10,000 in ad spend into well over $100,000 in revenue for my business. And then when we factor, the money that has been gained from the events and also just making a lot of clients, it's been very profitable. I told you guys where I was a year ago, right, in Orange County, how I didn't know anyone, like my business was flat. This completely changed everything for me. And, outside of the money, like most of the great friends and relationships have come from, the events and advertising of them. Like I said, a lot of you in this room have found me through an ad. Or you found me through somebody else who found me through an ad, right? So just the amount of opportunity that it's created for myself is absolutely insane. And on top of that, I've also gotten about 2,500 local Instagram followers from it. And just through doing events, I just became highly networked and highly visible in Orange County. In a very short amount of time, all while making a profit. It's literally been a dream for me, and it could potentially be a dream for you as well. All right, so let's briefly go through the process of how this would work if you were to do it. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to figure out what the goal and mission of your events are. Who do you want to bring together, and what do you specifically want to accomplish? I strongly believe that if you're going to have the most success and fulfillment doing events long term, you want to create a niche-based community based on the value proposition of your business. So if you're in financial services, for example, make your business around whatever area you focus on. If you're in real estate, make your events around specific areas of real estate. If you're a coach or consultant, like me, build your community around what you do, as a coach and consultant. You can do more generalized networking events like I've done in the past, but there's a reason why I've niched, because it's done the best job of meeting the types of people that I want to meet and also getting the types of clients that I want. In most cases, it's going to be a lot more valuable to go niche. All right, so after you do that and you figure out who your events are for and what you want to accomplish, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a landing page that talks about the value proposition of your events. What is your intention with these events, and what are you trying to do? And of course, you're going to also create an opt-in form to collect their name, their email, and their phone number to really start building a list. And after that, what you're going to do is you're going to create an engaging video ad that really speaks to the value proposition of your events, who you're trying to attract, and what you're trying to do. Just like my ads that I run on Instagram and Facebook. And I recommend you start with Facebook and Instagram. TikTok is also a good platform, but it's best to start with Facebook and Instagram. And this is going to do two things. First of all, it's going to build a huge list of people that really want to attend your events, right? So you're going to grow a huge database along the lines of that. And on top of that, it's also going to grow your Instagram following a lot. And I've explained to you guys how you can convert your followers into sales calls and eventually revenue, right? So just know that as you're actually advertising events, you're not only growing a huge list of people that want to attend your list, attend your events, but what you're also going to do is you're going to get a lot of targeted followers if you're building the events around the value proposition of your business. So it's very valuable. It grows your list and gets you targeted followers, which is amazing. And then, when your list is about 500 to 1,000 people, you can put on your first event. And in my experience, there's three main ways to make money from events. One is ticket sales, secondly is sponsors, and then on top of that, generating revenue from all the new clients that you get. And the goal is that after the money that you spend on ads and even the operational costs that you spent on the events, it is profitable, which is amazing because then you can continue to invest more into the ads, more into your business, and you can just really grow your reputation in a very short amount of time like what I've been able to do, which will lead to a lot of new clients and a lot of new relationships. Now look, if you want to do this yourself, then one, let's be honest, you're probably not going to end up doing it in the first place. And secondly, you're likely to just make a lot of mistakes like I've made in the past that have cost me a lot of time and money. So instead of that, I want to give you guys an alternative to try and get out on your own. If you're really interested in doing events, you want to shorten the learning curve and you want to succeed as quickly as possible, then we can potentially work together with me helping you implement everything that I've learned, my entire system catered specifically for your business. So I'm currently working with people in Southern California and also other areas around the United States. And so far, the metrics and the response for these other people's campaigns have been, really strong, meaning it's been working just as well for me as it has for other people in their own fields and areas. However, I'm also the one running the campaigns and organizing the whole thing, which is probably why. However, if you are interested in being one of those people that, wants to succeed faster and you're interested in doing events, then I recommend that you book a consultation with me. However, there is a disclaimer, which is this is really only for people that are making $100,000 a year income-wise in their business. And this is an advanced marketing strategy for an established business owner. And I'm really trying to work with people that have a proven history of really selling their service in the marketplace. You know, if you're not making six figures yet, I'm not saying don't do events, but it's probably not a great idea for us to work together. Instead, build your business up through all of the strategies that I spoke about. But if you are currently making an income of $100,000 a year or more in your business, and you're trying to take things to the next level, events are a really incredible strategy in order to do that. And if you're interested in doing that, we can definitely have a conversation. With me helping you, implement everything, my entire system. So if you are one of those people that's interested in potentially working with me, what you can do is you can go to my Instagram, @Alec Mountain, and you can DM me the word events. And then after I get off stage here, I can send you the link to where you can log in the consultation. All right, that's it for me. Again, let's give ourselves a huge round of applause for coming out.